It is not easy being in that moment. There's a lot of internal feelings and thoughts and a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves when it gets to the point of literally deciding that the last few months, last few years, last few hours that you've wasted your time with someone or something that does not support you in the manner to which you support them. True or not, factual or accurate, is not ever the true factor in that moment. Sitting with that acid building up, filling your gut, your kidney, your large intestines and small intestines, your liver being overworked by the acid that engenders. Because it does engender a certain poison that is always at the core of our humanity. We all, without getting moribund or macabre or giving in to that depression, understand that we have a finite time here, conscious and cognizant of ourselves. And that finite time, no matter how long, no matter how bountiful, always leaves us wanting more, to not have wasted moments, to not have given our hope, our faith, and trust to those to whom it means nothing. That response and reaction to that feeling varies in levels of self-deprecation to outright villainy against self and the world around us. To put it another way, feeling like a motherfucker wasted your time is the worst place to ever exist, because it feels as if you are a fool. Looking in the mirror, realizing that you wasted time with that jackass. You gave a good portion of yourself for their use, for their humor, for their comedy and their enjoyment. And what you have to show for it is a handful of flaming edge. And you do hold on to it. It sits there clinging to every facet of you, working from a little pin-sized prick somewhere deep in your soul, flooding the entirety of your being. And that's where the coterie is. Just as Joji has lost the entirety of his existence, save what his dear friend, his Maula, his associate, a person who loved him beyond himself without ever having to use any bit of grandiloquence to describe it. In those quiet moments of Joji being taken into his trust, those nothing smiles and the odd discussion of jeans and how they're cut, and the appreciation of Joji's craftsmanship, his attention to detail, those moments that meant the world after, in recollection. But in the moment meant nothing. It was just small talk. It was just, well, he's a good guy. I'm a good guy. It makes sense that he wouldn't mind having me around. After all, it's not like he could know what me and my sire would do. No, he couldn't know. Because if he knew, how could he have anything positive? How could he when I don't? It's in those moments and looking back that Joji realizes that the Candyman has taken him under his wing, not just politically, but all of those hundreds of small moments along the way have been the Candyman saying, you are worth my time. You are worth my efforts. You are worth my love. And as Joji deals with that, comes to grips with being taken into his confidence, being moved onto the list of people whom the Candyman would avenge and do very much more to not have to avenge the wrongs done to them. And as those realizations happen, as those thoughts percolate, as Matty leaves you all in a definitive moment, a similar understanding is happening in Lita and India and Annabelle. You all literally, by active stepping forward and accepting, or by not fleeing this moment, have risked and watched others risk their souls on your say. To have tied themselves in the only way that matter by voting with their feet and with their body to you. There's a certain bravery in that weakness, because it is a weakness. Each of you being lockstep into this decision of moving forward is now a liability to each and every other one of you. If anyone found out or finds out how closely you all have allowed yourself to become, how much of yourselves you have allowed to be risked, every other member present is a weakness that could be used against you. They're a weapon pointed at you. Because once you admit to yourself and understand that you actually care, in the least, for another person, they are now a weapon that could be used to carve away pieces of your heart.
So much easier not having them.
Is. So as you all sit in the very warm, comfortable ambiance of Asher's cabin, in his sanctum of sorts, tomorrow being a crime yet to happen. The night moves as the night moves. I'd like to officially say thank you all for being here. And this is without a shadow of a doubt, Season 4, The Dark of Bethany. Subtitled The Mirror's Face. And tonight's episode is Little Pig Seeing the Wind. The door is caught, the catch locking into place. The gently billowing and shimmering light from the fireplace, crackling and singing to you all in the way that only flame can. To paraphrase a great American poet, what do?
I guess Josie's just gonna look about the room and go, alright, we gotta act. Up until now, we've been the reactionary party, but we've gotta do something about this. Whether or not Matty shows up to help us with it is one thing, but we do have to start making ground. Agreed? Or am I just a little too gung-ho?
Yeah, I think both.
I'm mildly confused because last when we were alone somewhere. Did I lose time again for some reason?
Oh, when we last left off, were me and India in a room?
Yes.
Thank you. Like I said, the regular schedule being tossed into array has thrown my memory into array. So, hey, India, how are you doing? Everything okay?
You the one that said you wanted to talk to me, but I think
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to figure out how you're doing, because this can't be good on any of us, not just me.
I'm not thinking my brother out there somewhere hanging in fucking balance. I don't like that was the fucking bait. anybody but him. But decisions were made, and I will stick by what I said. I don't know what else to do.
We, as far as more, Lita knows all that weird shit, so maybe she can help you get a hold of him.
Maybe. But I also kind of feel like I don't know what's real anymore and what ain't. Because that being and that creature, that thing that we just made promises to, has been manipulating us the whole time
That's
to get what they
one of
want.
the unfortunate things. Yeah, it's one of the unfortunate things about the existence that we all now share. That something's always manipulating you. Something is, even if you don't know it. I try not to pay attention to that much anymore.
I guess being kindred is the nature of being somebody's puppet as long as there's somebody stronger than you.
Absolutely.
It's
But
crazy that.
there are things that we can control and things that we can affect. And hopefully, with Lita's help, your brother is one of those things.
You know what? She's kind of like gets a little closer to him, looks at him. You
What?
changed so fucking much in the past couple of months. When we met each other again,
How?
that first night, you were scared of a man doing the best you could, but jumping at every fucking shadow. And now you're practically walking through them shadows, using them like a cape.
Is that a
And
good
she
thing?
motions. I don't know. I mean, it's like the littlest dog getting put in the pound and coming back as the pack leader of the wolves, or however you want to say that. It's kind of cute.
Oh, okay. That oh, that. Yeah, that's good. Then I don't know how I've changed. Uh, I guess just having an
It's hard when you're looking at it from the inside. It's like somebody losing a gaining weight. They don't know till it's too late. And somebody said, "Oh, have you lost weight?" Well, ooh, girl, you might want to have a couple salads or some other rude shit. And that's when you realize, oh, something done changed. Till somebody else points it out. Well,
just kind of without really realizing or keeping in mind that he physically can't change too much in his current state. He does seem to like look down and pull on his shirt and just mutter, I don't think I've gained any weight."
that tickles her to no end, and she Tina Ham cute for her own fucking good sometimes. Oh, yeah. Oh, speaking of which, emotions to around him. Oh, apparently, I've been sleeping on some things I didn't know. Oh, well, actually, we
Like,
haven't seen each other in a long time, so I assume things changed while you were away.
yeah, a
I know.
lot changed while I was gone, honestly.
Oh, look
But
at that.
what's it that you've realized? Hello? I'm sorry for interrupting you. Please, just go ahead.
It's fine. It's fine. It's. I know we're on the younger side of things. There was a movie not. Well, it's been a while now because it's an older movie. or that's crazy that it's considered an older movie, but older movie, Martin Lawrence, he goes back in time. Stop me if you know where this is going.
Okay. All right. I will when I figure it out.
She rolls her eyes. I have legitimately rolls her eyes. Your daughter's a freak. That, and not in a bad way.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. You know what? I really should pay more attention to media.
That's what she
While
said.
out in the living space, Lita, you have never been in the presence of an actual entity strong enough to corporealize without being summoned. A entity strong enough to cause group hallucinations, visions, and premonitions. An entity strong enough to cross the veil of its own volition. At least that's what you would have said until tonight. Sitting in the presence of Mirrory, as your Coder members have joined their army. It's a once in an immortality situation. Something that strong, something that powerful, that has taken weeks to manifest in the way that it has, but yet still managed to manifest. Where does that leave you?
Pretty suspicious of her. I'm kind of maybe talking about minor points of the bargain.
Well, while Joji and India are indisposed in the next room, that does leave Annabelle, who's standing before the beat-metalled mirror, attempting to... You're not sure what they are attempting to.
She's trying to see if she can tell where Mary is gone. And what is she doing at this moment? So she's looking into this compact mirror that she's had for forever. And she's thinking about how the coterie has finally seen that Mary can help them. And she wonders if they'll accept her, or if they'll continue to fight, and if so, what will happen? And she wonders if Matty will come back tomorrow. And it's just so many unknowns. She's not a fan.
While you're doing that, would you be so kind as to roll your charisma plus insight as high as you can? And while that roll is offing, Lita, watching as Annabelle stares wistfully, because without really paying detailed attention, it very much looks as if she's just looking into the mirror.
I got a messy critical. 5.
Is there anything, any subject that you're attempting to broach with her, considering you have a lot of thoughts on the matter? You are 100% aware as to how beyond the pale everything that you've just witnessed is.
Well, I guess hail our conquering demon overlord. Long may she reign.
Are you saying that out loud?
I am.
So do you believe that Miri is going to help us?
I believe she has plans that involve us.
Yes, I think you're right. And I think it's been so long since she's been here. She must not really remember what it's like. I think we could guide her. Help her.
Well, I mean, you can certainly try.
I think it'd be nice. Do
That
you
would be.
imagine what it would be like to be locked away for that long?
I don't know. I've never spent real time locked away.
Well, I hope you don't have to learn. That's not fun.
Anyway. What do you think the others are up to?
You don't quite make it that far. The moment when you say anyway, and have relaxed into changing the subject, so kind as to go ahead and roll your resolve and either athletics, or if you are in possession of any dominate, you can. Not to gild the lily much, but your DC is what was last rolled by Annabelle sitting in the fake casting lots chat.
Messy critical 5. You're welcome.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it seems about right.
I mean, we only lost the one. I'm sure it's fine.
Well, the one is the success. The margin of 4. There is a sixth sense, a survivor's instinct that every being, every living and undead thing has. It is the oh shit. It is the GTFO instinct that is there underneath every entity's conscious mind. You want to be the opposite area of every danger that you felt. And as your sixth sense goes off, like explosions in your subconscious, you begin moving as you're talking. But anyway, trying to change the subject when you feel it take hold of you. It being the only way to describe it. The shadows that, if you're really pressed, you would have to say that you felt moving. But that's just because of the flickering light of the fireplace. But you felt the shadows moving. It's like glimpsing a small bug in the periphery of your vision, and you turn to look and you can't see it, but then you look to your other side and there it is, and you turn to look and then it's moved again because it's small and active and living at 3 times your speed. So as you're trying to approximate finding such a small nothing thing, it's just a ghost. Too fast to really define as being there and just low enough for you to perceive it. And that's how the shadows are for you. The corners of your vision show movement, but you realize it's just a flickering light from the fireplace. So that's not the case. You really are slinking across the ground. You really are closing off the light from your eyes. They really are drowning you in darkness. Darkness is a bad thing. It is a primordial fear of mankind. There are 2 styles of fear when it comes to the dark. It's the fear of the unknown, myriad of potential dangers out there floating in the ether. And then there's the other version of the fear of the dark. And that's when knowing that there is definable danger too numerous to account. Lead us firmly in that latter camp. There are echelons of things that would snack on the human soul like one would an appetizer or a bit of the samplings offered on a crudité. An amuse-bouche that wouldn't even do so much as to niggle the arm of their appetite. There are things out there for whom the consumption of the human soul or the kindred soul would be a meal that would have it fat and lolling in the dark. And there are things that take no sustenance from the human soul. Things that do so for the pleasure of ending a thing. Lita is aware that the dark is not the place for anything that has any bit of light. Lita is aware of the many myriad of beings and entities that are accessible through the dark, through the places where the shroud between this world and all of the others is thinnest. And as the dark consumes her, and all the light fades from her eyes, she realizes why this place is calming, why this cabin is relatively nurturing, not just because of the water, not just because of the decor or the warmth. No, this place is calming because it opens into the vast forever of the void, where none of the concerns, major or minor, that concern what happens here are of any real weight. And as the dark consumes her, she's in the worst class that she's ever taken. She is in the basic design wood shop. This is the class where most of the intellectually or emotionally stunted individuals needed permission slips from not just their parents, but from their counselors and their psychologists to take part. This is the class where the educator was a 65-year-old former wax from the army, broad of shoulder, svelte of waist, wide of hip, and short of patience, missing 2 tips of her fingers on her left hand and 1 tip of a finger on her right, whose voice sounded like a pack and a half of Benson & Hedges 120s, the green box. Her hair a mess and tangle of fading brown and grays. Her eyes hidden behind the safety glasses which sat atop her normal glasses, which were thick enough to refract light into a laser. She needed to talk very close because her ears had been damaged from years of the machinery in the shop. Did nothing for Lita. The scent of Ben Gay and various medicinal herbs and spices wrapped around joints that weren't meant to bend for as long as they've been forced to bend up and down and through the shop. And the scent of something else she couldn't put her finger on at the time. Something that kept tickling the back of her mind. But because of her annoyance, because of her not wanting to be there, no matter how mandatory the school administration said that this stupid fucking class was, Lita's mouth, her truer persona, the things that she kept bitten back behind well-phrased sentences and smiles poured out of her. She chalked it up to being immature, being young. But they still eat the news because of her own personal frustration. Only now, having exhausted all of her life, having given herself over to the death that promises immortality, she realizes what she scented on the woman that she was less than kind to. She scented the breast cancer crawling through her chest, crawling through her lymph nodes, working its way through a spry 56-year-old woman, so that by the time the semester ended and everyone took their summer vacation, the last thing Lita remembers saying to the woman is, "I'm glad I will never have to see you again." Lita's back here in that class, her young post-pubescent hands sitting on the desk, barely containing themselves from lashing out, and so she did so with her tongue. And it was this day, when those words came tumbling out of her mouth. She watched the seconds tick by on the clock. She dreaded the final grade of the final project. She dreaded having to talk about this stupid little fucking birdhouse. She was thankful she'd never have her space invaded by this woman, by these classmates, by these idiots, by the noise, the wood dust, the dirt that just seemed to cling to the skin in this space. She drew near, looks at you expectantly, a little bit of a twinkle to her eye, because there's not many young ladies who manage to survive the full semester in this class. Most go running and screaming, and most don't understand that being able to do things for yourself with your own hands is a priceless skill. So she, as per her usual, gets close and talks about the rounding of edges and sanding. You might want to sand that bit off right there. She gets close enough that you can smell the bengay and the medicinal herbs. Something begins bubbling up inside you. You've been here before. You hate to admit it, but you dreamed about this moment before. This memory dancing there at the tip of your consciousness. And you're here again, where a kind word would work wonders, not for her, but for you. Miss Cambridge, it's great. It's wonderful. I'm glad that you were able to get everything together. Perhaps this corner here, you want to round it off a little bit more. Not for the birds, of course, but for you when handling it, because you're still going to have to take it down from time to time to get food inside for the birds. And you want to make sure that you probably put it on a string instead of a stick or a branch, because the squirrels will get to it. Your hole's a little large enough, and they can get through anything that their whiskers can get through. Miss Cambridge, are you paying attention? Right here, you see, right here, this edge here in the front and this edge right here in the back.
Wow, I really did get to see you again in hell.
And as the words tumble out of your mouth, you've seen that far-looking patience as they disassociate hundreds of times before. At this point, probably 1,000 or so. But you've never heard them absently talking to you like this. There's a disaffected look that they have, but you can sense and feel and watch as they try to reclaim themselves from wherever they go when they fade out of the moment. There's none of that hanging over Lita. She is as clearly gone as you can be and still be physically present. And then she says, but anyway, and then those words come tumbling out of her lips. What do you say? What do you do? India and Joji aren't back yet.
The only words she spoke aloud was, "I knew I'd see you in hell."
Yep.
Annabelle looks at Lita and asks, who did you see in hell?
My little shop teacher. I hadn't thought about her in a minute.
What's so bad about your shop teacher?
She taught shop.
That's it?
Does there really need to be more?
I mean, there doesn't have to be, but there's often something underlying your feelings of anger towards a person who is doing their job, attempting to help you learn skills that may be useful later in life.
No. I'm about the least crafty person around, so it didn't take.
Not with that attitude. Was she cruel to you?
Not especially.
So why do you think you saw her just now? What were you thinking about that made you think of her?
Being 15 and kind of feeling like shooting up the school would be fun.
Did you feel, when you were in shop class, did you feel trapped? Was this a situation you hated so much that you would do anything to escape it?
It was the people. I couldn't stand the stupidity. It really got to me.
I understand. People can be when you interact with a person and you don't know what they're thinking, what they're doing, why they're doing what they do, and then it's hard to understand why they make the choices they do, why they say the things that they do. Especially when you're young. You were in high school, middle school.
Something like that. Yes, high school.
Difficult time. Mm.
Yeah.
So if you ran into your old shop teacher on the street, just on her way home from picking up groceries, you would say, see that you would say that you'd seen her in hell.
Well, she died not long after teaching me.
Ah, So, in this case, it was you who was in hell, and you assumed that because she was there.
Yes, I had some kind of vision. It was very... It was very something. Something overwhelming. This place is built on a nexus of power. That's why so much supernatural crap has been happening here.
This particular lodge or the town that
Yes,
you're in?
the lake is part of it.
Is this power, does it have a mind behind it, or is it simply a tool?
It's a deep philosophical question. I have no idea. I think it's energy that can be manipulated.
Which is a good point, because it can be manipulated, it can be utilized, it can be directed, it can be tapped into. It's a frequency, and it's a frequency that is moving through you all. As the moment that Annabelle tapped into the essence and calling forth into the dark, India, Joji, everyone remembers their first kiss. Even when you block it out and you say that it was horrible, or you say ew, or you get the ick from it, everyone remembers their first kiss. The first time that you liked another person enough to share air with them, to share of your touch with them, to invest their continued existence with all that was you. Some subconscious part of you knew and was driven towards the exchanging of genetic material, saliva, sweat, air, closeness, and proximity. First want to do that. The first want to become one with something else. As you all talk and ignore the sounds of danger out there in the wild, as you all draw close to each other physically, as you all realize the bond that still exists because of you two having shared blood. That first touch, that first bloom of wanting to be part of someone else begins echoing through you. And you know that it's not solely a natural occurring thing. You know that it's not solely because of the bond you all shared through having shared each other's vitae. You know consciously that subconsciously something else is fueling this, because you see yourself and feel yourself as you were in those first crushing moments of love of something that was not yourself. It's not the mature mind realizing that you're well suited for a person, or a person is well suited for a portion of your life. No, it is that fearful mountain of adrenaline. It is the armies of butterflies bouncing through the stomach and tightening things low in the chest and throughout the intestines. It is that sweat inducing, heart pounding palpitation of adrenaline surging through you.
India is usually not scared of too much. She's not obviously roping and riding, growing up with horses and larger animals than she was, and taking them to the ground. That's normal for her, but this thing that they're dealing with is a little bit new for her. And normally she's bold as you like, but something about this perceived fragility of Joji in her head makes her question herself. Like, I know he's felt things and I know I'm feeling things, but does he feel the same things that I'm feeling? And that's kind of on loop in her brain. So the jokes and the loose flirting and everything she's kind of hinted at, she's waiting for him to make some sort of move and then realizing this boy ain't gonna move at all. And there's that, oh shit, moment for her. Uh, Either I'm gonna have to do this or it's not gonna get done. So finally, at that point, up until that point, she had been kind of standing up. Well, I guess he was sitting down and my pacing, randomly stopping in front of him, moving to stand between the V of his knees and just looking down at him.
Is everything okay?
Trying to make a decision.
Tell me about it. I might be able to help you.
Remember when we first saw each other back in the day?
Like, yeah. That was really far long ago, but yeah.
My brother caught me staring at you and kind of came to me and said, Andy, I know that look. Little weird white boys. Stay away from them, you know. And I couldn't understand why he said that because I was just young and he saw something that I don't think I knew was that. And then, of course, you know, that whole situation that happened with the man that later became a fucking problem for my whole family when we broke it off. I think you were gone by then. What I'm trying to say is this whole thing started out as an accident. But I think fate has been a little funny. It started out as an accident, but I'm choosing to wholeheartedly embrace that accident and fight for it. Do you want me to fight for it?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I'm really.
When he says yes and starts stumbling, she shuts him up with her lips. Kind grabs his face and kisses him and puts everything into it full send.
The wonders of being able to freeze up like a bunny rabbit and then realize, oh fuck, wait a second. This is happening. Have you been paying attention to the play chat this entire time, India?
Yeah, that's why I was having a hard time not laughing.
Uh, from what I can tell, I guess, is that real, Nobu? Is there actually, like, a specter in the distance watching us, or are you just fucking with...
Yes.
Oh. As she kisses him, and I guess Joji looks over her shoulder and sees that, like, just vibing, it just... No, wait. Point. Uh... There's something watching us.
I'm so sick of fucking spirits. Ugh.
I mean, I don't care if you don't care. Okay, uh, that was nice. Unexpected, but nice. Okay, how
What the hell was
how do
not
I shut these
expected?
guys
Were
up?
you not paying attention this whole damn time?
I'm paying attention to a lot of things. I'm sorry. And also, like, there is that whole thing of like, oh, does she actually like me, or am I just reaching out for comfort in a dark time? It's really. I'm just gonna shut up. Okay, it's honestly it's getting harder and harder to ignore the ghosts that are screaming at us.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
Uh,
We should probably go find the others.
yeah. That some other time.
Because that she smiles at. Yeah, we got unfinished business. And then turn.
As she turns and looks away from him, he just over to the ghosts with the most like mouthing this just you fucking asshole couldn't keep quiet.
I was gonna kiss.
It makes so much sense for the Candyman to have an entourage of perverted ghosts. And after delivering his silent like "fuck you," he'll follow after India.
So you should describe this ghost for the folks at home.
Well, as far as I can see, he's dressed up like an 18th century landed knight of some form. No, I don't like peasant levy. He's got chainmail on, which is very disruptive for me to figure out how the fuck he got here. He's incredibly gaunt with glowing eyes and a cowl over his head. I guess the restrictive social climate back then led to a certain release of inhibitions upon death. Okay, no, I'm not, no. Stop that. Bad perverted ghost. Bad. I know, but I don't do it on demand. Well, I mean, not your demand. Does anybody know how to dispel this thing? He says as he's just walking into the main quarters. Lita, can you get rid of this?
Maybe.
Please and thank you.
Use the binding fetter.
I don't want to bind him. He'd like that.
Especially with a fetter.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, he's distracted now. This is the perfect time. He just kind of like sidesteps away to let him focus on Lita.
Where you guys in the main area now?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yep. They've walked out in the middle of you and Lita's conversation, and with them is an apparated vision. Much like Murray actually physically being present, this spectral entity takes up weight. You can feel their presence in the room, and you can see them. There is a billowing, wispy smoke floating off their extremities, off their head, and through them. But, and here's the problem. While you can intuit what it is communicating as it opens and speaks, you actually can't hear it. Unlike Murray, unlike the children who operated while you all were out there in the dark, this bottom feeding spirit, this residual energy of a formerly living entity, seems to not have that same strength, though it does seem to be very, very interested in the flesh.
Huh. Am I the only... No, you guys...
What?
You all see that, don't you? Him, it.
Yeah, I can hear it, yes, and that is the biggest problem.
Can't see it?
I can hear it, I can see it, I can probably, if I tried, smell it.
Did you ask... never mind. I just walk up to this ghost and I ask its name?
Oh God, I never wanted to hear that.
India makes a sound that nobody's probably ever heard. It's a strangled squeak of what the fuck.
Oh,
Michael, you seem like you really want hands to work. Your own hands. No, I'm gonna call you Michael. I'm not gonna call you Daddy. I described calling you Daddy.
see, this is why I work with electronics. They don't thirst after me.
Ah. It's like being in a session with a high schooler again. High school's coming up a lot.
Yeah, what?
What?
Nothing. It just You must handle some very strange people.
It's therapy. Everybody's got their things. I will release my own inhibitions later, Michael.
I was trying to before you involved yourself.
Were you?
What?
You know
No.
what?
Ignore me.
You know what? As fun as this has all been, did you realize that I had never actively seen spirits until this whole shit at the fucking carnival? And ever since then, it's been one fucking brain fuck after another.
Yeah, some of my guys can see it. I normally can't see ghosts either. Which is something I've been thankful for up until this point in my life. And now I have, he gestures towards Michael, this type of shit to deal with. Who the what?
Who's Jonathan?
That's my first name.
Oh, right. I haven't called you Jonathan in so long.
It happens. Also, I have not wanted anyone as sacrifice, thank you. And how does this have to play with Matty? Oh, Jonathan Wait, Jonathan Connor sent you here?
Are you planning to sacrifice us?
Oh, motherfucker. That's it. No, I've cemented my stance. All of them, every single one. Speak me right down the. Okay, motherfucker, bring it!
I mean, that sounds fun, but perhaps not.
No. It feels like Jonathan only sent you here to annoy me.
At that, it's kind of, I was about to say something and just kind of like, what?
Okay,
Oh
I'm
no.
not giving
Oh
that
no.
thing any more of my attention. Not after that. He says as he just walks away towards one of the storage rooms.
It is absolutely ridiculously childish. However, you all, as Joji turns to walk away, the specter melds with him as if you would have found your lover after years away at war. Their arms wrapping around his chest as he walks, its lower extremities melding perfectly with his back line from the line of his shoulders down to the line of his calves, its legs moving in time with his as it snuggles and leans into the crook between Joji's delt and his neck and rides him as if you would the buckingest of broncos. It holds on and spoons him as only the incorporeal can.
As Josie's just walking away, he pauses for a moment, looks down. It's not hugging me, is it?
Well, how do you define hugging?
I don't want to know, actually. What do we need before we can get out of here?
Hater than a sweater.
Uh, Never want to hear that again. Okay. What? Once again, what do we require, or are we good to go?
Do we need to deal with the fact that
Oh,
Jonathan Connor sent this ghost to snuggle you?
I think we need to deal with Jonathan Connor. Connor. Jonathan Connor. Yeah.
That seems like a good first step. He didn't send you. What? You just volunteered. You were promised.
What? Promise? Exactly? Oh, for fuck's sake.
I think this has something to do with earlier tonight, how we were all supposed to die in that fire.
Honestly, I thought I was supposed to be the only sacrifice. I'm okay with this.
Wait, can we just... Can it actually hurt us, or is it just going to deal psychic damage? Oh, fun. Wait a second. No, there will not be more. Lita, come on. You can do something about this guy, right?
Well, if we get a magic weapon, we could hurt it with that.
Do you have one handy?
No, do you?
I get the horrible impression that hurting him would just make him light. Every fractured soul becomes a check. What?
Them little weird
What
ass
kind
children.
of... Oh. No, wait, you're saying those things are coming?
Hmm.
No, oh god, get it away from my ear, please.
Every time I think it's useful, it proves otherwise.
Michael,
I'm gonna calm on this right now. It was
we have spoken with Mary, and she has agreed not to sacrifice him. We're going to have to find somebody else.
Pay the fucking... I'm not gonna pay your toll, you weird cosplayer. No. Has anyone tried hitting this guy with a stick?
Well,
Michael, forcing somebody to be physical with you is not the same as love. In fact, many would consider it the opposite. If you think it feels the same, that is only because you have not experienced anything different.
Look, Mickey D's, about 500 yards that away, there's an entire campus full of people getting it on. We are about the only folks in this entire region not lusting at, not actively fucking each other. Go over there. Why not?
You were called by wish and
God,
Mir-
what is she busy with?
Matt.
God damn it, I shouldn't ask him any questions. I just get the same fucking squishy noise.
Did you come here to help us?
Obviously not.
Well, if he was called by wish and want, then somebody wanted.
I don't think what we wanted was him.
I have some pretty perverse desires about the undead, but
Wait, what?
they don't involve this.
You what now, Lita?
I spend a lot of my free time trying to call up spirits. It doesn't always go well.
Okay,
Usually,
I want to dig into how that is somehow perverse, but I also don't want to uncover that particular thing. I also want you to know that the guy that's making squishy noises in my ear somehow thinks that you're the stalker type. Honestly, I think he gets off on not being wanted. Stop calling like they
Well, that's simply a self-defense mechanism.
Okay, you know,
You are only self.
at this point, Joji's like actively swatting at the guy behind him, attempting to get him off. Not in the way that he wants.
Oh, really?
No! Go away! No one wants you here!
I think at some point India is not helping because she goes to try to stick her hands between the two of their bodies to try to pull him away.
Alright, no, we're just going to have to get on the road and do something that is productive and not this. No, not you. We're not going to do you. Isn't there like some kind of horrible dark entity I can call up to send you into their maw? Like, Lita, how does this ghost shit work?
Well, usually the best way is to find something they care about, and then you can threaten that.
I'm pretty sure the only thing that this guy cares about is sex toys.
Well, there's plenty of those.
Stop it. Ew, no. Okay, no. Alright, I'm leaving. We're going to go kill something rather than I'm having way too much in the way of frustration to not vent it. Who knows, maybe we'll catch up with Matty or something. He says as he just goes to walk. No! Shut up!
I was wondering how Maddie's doing.
Well, presumably she's left by now. What I mean by catch up with her is, I am going to go and burn down a chantry.
What? What do you mean by this coil?
The mortal coil, I guess. I don't fucking know. I've stopped listening to him. See? Anytime you ask an actual question, just makes noises in my ear.
Anyway, I'm on team let's blow up a chantry.
Yeah. That's kind of our, I mean, are we gonna check and see if Maddie's there first?
If the next place that Matty went after we had a conversation where I explicitly said I'm going to have to end up just murdering all of the Tremere is to the Chantry, then I think that's pretty solidly in the ballpark of she's not our friend anymore.
I suppose, or maybe she's confronting them.
Oh. Yeah, anymore. Wait, why am I engaging with you?
India gets licked, she snarls.
You know, pigs only see the spoons in my ear. Wait, are you a proponent of the pigs can't look up scenario? Yes, they can.
Candyman has some pigs if you want to check.
I don't want to go near that particular area right now.
Don't want to know why he keeps them.
I think you know why.
I think the point
Yes.
is that this thing wasn't originally here or meant to be here. It was drawn here through purpose of things, of our intentions of figuring shit out, and then John Connors, whatever, fucking sent it.
It just occurred to me that his name is John Connor.
It's a good name.
It's a Terminator reference.
Yeah, no.
Okay, well, if Mirrory has many things in her wake, everyone, I think it's definitely a good idea to get out of here, specifically. And I guess I'm gonna have to apologize to Candyman for opening a dimensional rift in his lodge. No? What do you mean, no?
Are you here because we made a deal with Mirrory?
I think that was pretty... Make it stronger when... Alright, everyone gotta... Fuck, it's exactly like I said, just don't pay attention to him. So, anyways, does anyone even know where the Chantry is?
Remember, we went to the Chantry to drop that bitch off, and all this shit started. That's where the Chantry is.
That was... No, that was the Chantry of Shreveport. I'm looking for the one in this town.
Oh, that's the thrift store.
What? The thrift store is a chantry?
That
It makes sense now.
makes
Remember,
it
that's
weird.
where we all went and got called to that night.
Oh. Yeah.
All right. Well, off to the thrift store. I'll have to pick up my uncle's machete, but other than that, I'm good to go.
All right. Where's your uncle's machete?
It will probably be somewhere in the burning pile of my house, or if I was smart, in the shed.
I suggest we check the shed first.
All right. Let's get out of here. That I have to avoid using certain phrases. I've just realized this is horrid.
The problem with that situation is,
Hmm?
how do we know the Chantry of Bethany has anything to do with what the Chantry of Shreveport has going on? Because as far as I
They're
knew, Shreveport was just its own thing.
they're premier. They're like a fucking parasitic hive mind.
No, she's right. If we're going to
The
attack
cops
the
going to
chantry,
see
we
us?
want to attack the one we need to attack first. Because otherwise they're warned.
All right, so we assault the Shreveport Chantry and hope that the one here isn't just part of them.
Yes. To start with, at least.
Okay. All right.
Wait, what cop?
What cop? What are you
Shit.
talking about, cop?
He said that the cop wants to see us anyway. And the other night, when I checked on a mutual friend, he said that the cops were looking for us after all that shit that happened at the carnival. And that he had just gotten out because they charged him with things that happened due to Matty's fucking family.
I don't think talking to the police is a good idea.
Potential good.
In my experience, it has only ever resulted in bad things.
That's the thing. I don't want to talk to them, but I was told that they are specifically looking for me. And probably the rest of y'all.
Yeah, I imagine it's another one of them machinations put in place by the fucking Tremere to throw us astray.
He just said yes and Joji. So they're looking for us.
Alright, so it was the fucking Jonathan. It was. Also, I thought we agreed not to pay attention to this thing.
I know that's what she said, but at the same time, I was talking about other things, and it just so happened that it is corroborating that story.
Okay, so if Jonathan is trying to fuck us over, and he is a member of this chantry, then we need to do something about it, don't we?
Is he, or are we assuming this based on the word of a being who specifically does want to sacrifice it?
Oh, wait. Alright, okay. I hate that I'm doing this, but according to the ghost guy, he is really just going after Matty and not us. Stop that!
Remember, in
No.
Hate to Maddie, I pointed that out earlier. That was her whole point of the fact that she lied loosely about knowing all that shit. That's probably why she didn't realize they were going to attack your house right away instead of just in general. Because he pushed. He doesn't like her.
I think it was more a scenario of wanting to try and catch her in the building when it went foof. Because remember, it only went up when she got there. Either way, since Matty has so wonderfully decided to fuck off, we should hopefully no longer have any issues out of that guy.
I don't think it works that way. Target already
It's
fucking
typical.
acquired.
Okay, do we burn down this chantry or do we burn down the other? I don't know what's going on. Like, I just want total desolation. I want scorched earth. I want them to remember my name and what they have done and why they are suffering.
Okay. How do you plan on blowing up a chantry full of Tremere?
With fire.
With fire. That is non-specific.
Do you want me to make a bomb? I can make a bomb. I just don't have the supplies anymore.
Well, we can't just blow it up with, what was it, wishes and intentions?
Okay, I have in Shreveport at the uni. I should have what I need there.
Alright. So first stop, Shreveport.
Okay, but somebody else is gonna have to drive. This guy is way too distracting. I'm not gonna say it. Let's get out of here, everybody, please.
With you.
Alright, let's go. We have a plan of sorts.
All right. India, are you coming along? You got something else to say?
He's been squinting at this thing and then kind of Sighs resignedly, gets real close to Joji and the entity, reaches out her hand and puts it where she is, not Joji,
Oh,
looking it
okay.
supposedly in the eyes. Daddy, you want to play nice? I need you to leave him alone so he can focus, okay?
I don't know why, but I'm oddly annoyed.
In her head, internally, she is screaming, but for now, she can play nice.
The moment that you complete the exchange of energies, it's like a safe word. The moment that you complete the final intonation and invocation, the silent, pernicious Michael becomes more. And where your hand was emptily floating in the ether is now resting against something that has more than a spiritual weight. Where your hand was resting in the ether of space, in the midst of all of that silence for you, but very loud for Joji, there is now not quite bodily warmth, but there is something that your hand rests against.
India, why does my back feel heavy?
It
You hungry?
relinquishes its hold on Joji,
Oh, that's much better.
swings gently into your hand. And as your hand moves through it, as if you would through a very freshly made bit of blown glass candy, i.e., cotton candy, it feels a little sticky, a little firmer than it had a moment before. You're still able to freely occupy that space, but there is something considerably more tangible. Its gaunt frame seeming to take on some girth, as if swelling with energy, swelling with force, swelling with the power of attention given. And as it corporealizes more of itself here, and not just in singular body, but there are now 9 of it floating, forming its own cadre. You see that the hood that it's wearing was store-bought. You can tell because unlike most actual 15th, 14th, and 13th century hoods that went over gherkins, there's a seam down the middle where the machine sewed and stitched the two pieces of material together. The bodkin that it's wearing is actually machine stitched instead of hand whipped. There's no cross hatching where you go one stitch over, one stitch under, come back and through so that it would hold together and last out a season. The chainmail that you assumed was some chainmail shirt from the ancient forgotten times before the Renaissance period, you can see are in fact made from bottle cap tabs and beer can tabs broken and welded together to form that chain mail. The sort of thing that a LARPer would wear to play. And underneath, what really gives it away, instead of it being breeches that were sewn together from lambskin or leathers or whatever hand tan and cottons that they had woven, it's actually leggings. And underneath the boots that look very period appropriate, you can see the actual modern soles of something that was purchased at some wholesaler. Shoes for less, Foreman Mills.
It's one of the children.
but it remains silent, true to its word. It, occupying 9 separate spaces. It, now that it's more corporeal, you can see the lack of wrinkles beneath those glowing ember of eyes. You can see that the scars across the right side of its face, spreading up across the bridge of its nose and down past the left, are the sort of scars that you would have if you were to ram someone's face into a windshield. You realize that the smoke wisping and wafting off it and through it is the sort of steam and smoke that would happen when you were driven into the engine, or more accurately, the engine of your vehicle is shoved into your chest during a collision. You realize that the dried blood in various places across the ensemble that it is wearing are the sort of things that would happen from massive, traumatic, concussive force. The problem with that, and this is the glaring issue, you all only know those injuries because you all, in one moment or another, have been the end of a living person's existence through concussive force. You've driven people to run screaming, flying from you at all high speeds to escape. You all have stood over your fallen victims and watched them cease to be. You know the signs of death. You know some of the causes that lead to those signs. And here before you, this specter who was growing in strength and is growing in strength is not as nearly long ago departed as you all would have wished. And it's strong enough, determined enough, to be following in Mirari's wake. What about when something truly strong, something truly capable, something considerably older decides that it wants its just due, its pound of flesh? Where the tiger haunts carrions feed, much like the wolf and the raven, much like the coyote and badger, much like the lion and hyena. When one captures and kills, the other comes to devour the carcass, to crawl through the remains. And Mirari is that apex predator, free for the very first time in several handful of dozens of decades. That contemplation is sitting there for you all, face to face with Daddy Michael. It is comfortably 23 after the hour. See you guys in 10. Welcome back. Who's still here?
Hey.
You.
Doesn't like cracking a fresh one. So, a consideration that I had with elongating that scene was keeping it annoying without crossing over into full-fledged visceral anger. Was that reached?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The goal of elongating that scene with keeping you all still engaged in the cabin was to keep it on the cusp of annoying without going into actual visceral anger. So I was curious, did that bleed across? Did that actually stay within that annoying realm without quite metastasizing into full-fledged anger in character?
Oh yeah, no. Joji was very much on the line of just ignore it, just ignore it, just ignore it. And I think you definitely achieved your goal there. Out of character, I found it fucking hilarious, but in the moment, it was very much a, this thing isn't really something worth investing too much of the way emotions in. Yeah, it's an annoyance, but if you get frustrated and viscerally angry with it, then you're just giving it what it wants.
Yes. 100% was dancing on that cusp or trying to stay right on that cusp. I thought another way to keep that going was to keep it from being oral. Like there's no audio to any of that huge long conversation it was having as it was picking at you all, offering truths for the cost and price of your attention. Also, I wanted to toy with the idea of having a moment that is solely the characters illuminating what it is that they're experiencing without any narration.
Yeah, yeah. It's very much a translate what's happening through the characters and not through the DM.
And Lita, as far as your role, the reason why finding Fetter wouldn't work, because there's no Fetter for this dead person. And let's be perfectly honest, this dead child. It is a high schooler which died on the way from a LARPing convention that has, through its selfish childishness and holding on to that immaturity, metastasized into something else on the other side. It's strong enough where the few things that bound it to this version of the world aren't actually here anymore. Like the concept that is its primary animating force is all of that post-pubescent passion, all of that titillation, all of that pent-up frustration with no outlet.
Yeah, it became apparent that he knew a lot of what we needed to know and was looking for an exchange. And also, I guess me insulting him by calling me a cosplayer was less of an insult and more of a factual identifier.
Yes, yes, it was. I was hoping that would bleed across. Like, wait a minute, is it
He does.
really?
Yeah, no, wait. It's like, is this guy actually a fucking knight? I don't know why they would act like this.
Welcome back.
I heard my
Welcome,
cat while I wasn't here, but I don't know where she did it. Gonna be a surprise later.
Only the best of surprises. Only the best.
He's such a giver.
That's such a giver. That's terrible. Oh, so my sister's boyfriend might be picking up a job where I'm at. The position that I'll be vacating by transferring to night shifts, potentially transferring to night shift, he put in for it. So that'll make like 4 or 5 people that I directly know / am related to working there. But another fun fact, the guy that runs the bending machine is my uncle, and the guy who leads all of welding, the guy that is over the day shift welding team, is apparently also my great uncle. So I'm weirdly related to this building.
Nice.
Huh. That is. Here's a question.
Last name not Hutchinson?
No.
Here is a one question. Did you know it before you started.
Nope.
That's funny. And the reason why that's funny is because that happened to me. We opened up the Buffalo Wild Wings Homewood, and one of the hirees was a niece of my cousin.
Oh.
Found out as she was marked to be fired.
Oh,
Like the weekend before she was supposed to be fired, we went out to the Labor Day parade out in Dalton, and extended families were in town, and so it wasn't just the usual central group of cousins and nieces and nephews. It was the larger, and there she was. Yeah, made the termination a little awkward considering that she was going back to college anyway. Hey, cuz guess what? You're fired.
Oh, that's horrid.
Yeah. Yeah. But all's fair in love and quick service food.
Yeah. What's it? I think whenever it comes to down here, it's primarily just because there's not a lot of good work, and it is such a small area, so, like, the people that live down here are just all one tight-knit community. And
There's something to be said for it.
it makes trying to get into a relationship very dangerous. Because I more or less have to get a fucking DNA test from all of my suitors.
Consciences.
Well, what about mail order?
Hell no.
Any port in the storm, my friend. Any port in the storm. Whatever it takes. Your
Yeah.
happiness is important to us, and we will make sure that, I'll send you down a few magazines, a few links to a website. Annabelle has several connections abroad, so does Diva. And Lita, you're on the other coast, so, we can utilize your resources, and we just pour them all into Litchfield and the surrounding areas. Before you know it, it'll become a local holiday. What's up with all of these strangers? Oh well, it's that time of month again. What do you mean that time of month? Well, once a month, Will suitors flood the town.
That's a horrible, horrible idea.
it's
Hotels,
the run of the gulls.
yeah. The hotels will be very thankful. They have an influx of customers and trade out of the clear blue. And would you have to pick a good weekend? Like once a month on that weekend when you have 3 days in a row, just all of your suitors, all your potential suitors flood the town. Fill up all the hotels, all of the rooms for rent, and before you know it, it becomes a tradition. Even long after you're done with suitors, just once a month is just your weekend.
Indeed, the state starts seeing me as a tourist attraction. I get paid. Oh no, man, it's not that bad, thankfully. I'm near several towns and such like that, so were I to ever find myself in a financially responsible state,
and a satisfactory financial state. So I gotta flip those words to make it sound all right. Then I don't believe that I would have too much in the way of issue. But it is just funny, as you know, being in Kentucky or most southern areas, the number of just incest jokes that fly about, and then realizing how easy it is to accidentally find yourself in a relationship with a distant cousin.
Better a distant cousin than a close one.
That is true, definitely true. But when you're like me and you don't actually know 90% of your family, it could be either or. You just gotta make sure to do your test, do background checks.
You don't get to stalk him on Facebook.
No, God, no. I hate Facebook. I haven't touched Facebook in 10 years.
They touched you.
No, I think I stopped using it. I can't remember exactly why I stopped using it.
Because it sucks.
I don't know. I literally wish I could tell you. I just didn't care for it. I think it's kind of the reason why I've also, yet to reinstall Discord on my phone. Because I don't like getting dragged into digital platforms too much. Before I had got my new phone, I was almost compulsively checking my Discord every 15 or so minutes. And
then you abandoned me.
What?
And then you abandoned me.
I didn't abandon you. I don't know. Anyways, I believe we have struck past our 10-minute break timer.
We have. We're getting settled back in because, the annoyance worked, and I'm glad that it did.
Yeah.
However, there are still several truths that's sitting there before you all. There is the realization that, like, the Pacific Fleet, like the lead battleship, where it goes, there is an armada of other vehicles of varying sizes in its wake. And that's Mirrory. Mirrory is a power unto herself, free for the first time in a very long while. Throwing a pebble into a lake doesn't cause much damage. There's not much backspray. But hurling a mountain into the ocean, those are several states, countries that will be washed away. And she's somewhere on that scale of things, considerably larger than a mountain. And she is not at anywhere near full power, and yet she is already manifesting physically. She's already in the excess energy tossed off with where she's been. Her jet stream of energy, residual, bringing forth things like Daddy Mike. She, in having touched your lives, has marked you all for attention of other things. And while, yes, there were plots and machinations already in the offing by people who didn't care what the results would be, because they would be, as far as they were concerned, unaffected by it. The acceptance of her power, the acceptance of her energy. You're beginning to see, or let's be perfectly honest, feel the various potential levels and layers of what's possible.
Yeah. While we were on break, we were discussing, do we focus on the kindred trying to kill us, or do we focus on the now black hole of the void that we've accidentally opened?
I think we should focus on the black hole of the void. and try to close it up in her wake. Because we don't need the rest of them. We haven't made any deals with the rest of them. We have no loyalty to anything else.
Yeah.
And then, once we are no longer being hounded by spirits we cannot affect, we'll be able to focus more on this world.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I know Tremere somewhat can deal with spirits, right? But what if we point this very numerous amount back at them and distract them like they intended to distract us?
Are you saying to weaponize the sex ghosts?
I mean, I heard Tremere
sounds like
one
a
of the most
two-legged
repressed groups, so maybe.
The bookish types are always the kinkiest. Something about living in a land of fantasy all the time. But no, I just don't really, and apologies for being a dog with a bone here, I don't really care about this. I would rather deal with the other thing before trying to move on to something else. Because, like, ghosts haven't tried to burn me alive yet.
Ghosts have tried to eat us alive. The ghosts of the children?
Everything is trying to eat me.
Well, you are delicious.
What?
That's what I hear.
India kind
Looks
of
over
chuckles
to
at that.
India. Okay.
Oh, she was definitely smirking at that back and forth.
So, anyways, I think we should deal with the Tremere first, and I mean, with finality. I feel like the situation in Shreveport has gotten out of control, and it is going to cause chaos for not only us, but for everyone in Bethany if not handled.
I have a question.
Huh?
If you blow up an entire chantry worth of Tremere, do they become ghosts?
No. I don't care. Maybe. Fuck it, Mirrory can eat their souls. I don't know.
That's true. She is hungry.
She really doesn't like any of the people involved with bagging her up, so.
So,
Actually, Lita, on that note, did any of your people have anything to do with that? Do you know? Do you care?
with trapping Mirrory, you mean?
Yeah. Alright, I guess Lita doesn't have a clue on that regard. I don't know. I'm not gonna force y'all to follow my particular way of things, but
But how long
I
do we
just
got before sunrise, and then we can decide? Because we might be stuck here for the rest of the night, seeing as how it was past midnight when all of this shit happened.
That is true. How long do we have till sunrise? He says, pulling out his phone.
You still have more than a few hours. Unfortunately, that's the problem. You have more than a few hours. It would mean that in the offing, just in travel alone, while you all drive at ridiculously fast speeds, because you're able to navigate the back roads here, there, round, and under, it would still leave you with less time to get to safety than would be comfortable for any of you all.
Yeah. We can't make it up to Shreveport tonight. All right.
Over there and back, give or take traffic, you're sure you could push it. You're sure you can gamble on your driving ability, but it would in fact be a gamble. You would be risking the full might of the sun.
Yeah, we can't safely get to Shreveport, let me correct.
So,
Is there anything here in Bethany that we can handle tonight, or would it be better to just try and blitz our way there?
we could get
Is like-
supplies, perhaps.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Seeing as how we are more familiar with these surroundings and have better access to things here, we could probably try to avoid the cops and then still manage to get our supplies so that we can make what we need for tomorrow night.
Like, there might be a chemical store around here.
Certainly there's fertilizer.
Those bombs are odd. But yeah, no, we can most likely get what we need. The only problem is with the cops after us, if that's gonna throw up any more red flags.
Is there a body in your shed?
Maybe? I don't know. We can go check. We can go do something or anything productive.
Why don't we check?
Okay.
Although we don't, well, we'll have to make sure it's not being staked out or whatever.
I'm pretty sure that the fire department would have showed up at some point.
Right.
But after that, I don't see why anybody would watch my house.
Well, if they're looking for us, returning to the scene of the crime situation,
The scene of me setting my house on fire?
well, someone did.
I know, it's just you're implying that they think I set my house on fire.
Well, A, they're looking for us. B, somebody set your house on fire. Therefore,
Isn't the one that set on fire in Shreveport, and we're in Bethany, so I don't think it's the same thing.
What? No, my house here in Bethany was set on fire. My shop was burned down.
That's weird, because I think this all started, we were in Shreveport, and we got Clint back, and we were taking him to your house,
Yeah?
the one that you had gotten as a temporary base of operations in Shreveport when all that shit popped off.
Wait, am I misremembering some? Alright, nobody, God of all that is. Which of my houses burned down?
Bethany.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured.
Okay.
No,
So then I think I missed parts and pieces of some of the context clues with things, because I thought we were
You're
still
good.
in Shreveport after they had kicked in our door at the temporary house in Shreveport.
No.
No.
So, we retreated back to Bethany as a kind of more familiar ground scenario. Because Shreveport did not seem safe at the time.
Ah, okay. Because then I literally, for like a good half of another different situation, thought we were in Shreveport still.
It's okay. It's okay. All right. Well.
Yeah, can we just do the whole timeline again? And
Yeah.
what we
No.
were
No.
going through?
It's like whenever your wires get all mixed up and you don't understand how that happened because you've not messed with it for weeks.
Yeah. Like at this point, I'm like, we kind of agreed to kill literally everybody.
Not everybody, just the Tremere.
No, but there was some shit about princes too.
No. The prince is a Tremere. It still follows under the original agreement.
Okay. That's fair.
All right. So, anyways, back to the task at hand. We are walking and talking, heading towards the vehicle. Correct?
No, you're taking the back way. Remember?
Oh yeah.
So you can't head to the front door where your vehicles are if you're gonna take the back way. You gotta head due west until you hit Candyman Road. Take Candyman Road all the way over to Route, what is that? Route 9. And from Route 9, you can circle down past the Leroy Hightower Cemetery. Continue down that Elysian Road all the way to Jonathan Garcia's pawn shop, which is out there on Elysian Fields, actually. But luckily for you all know your way around.
Hell yeah.
Like the back of our hands.
Well, that's new.
What's new?
Oh, nothing. I just guess I must have forgot I had a freckle.
Would you like to look in the mirror? I hold up a mirror for you.
No. I don't care to look at any mirrors. So I guess let's just get this show on the road.
I mean,
All right,
truth
so
be
we're going
told,
back to your place. There's
Yeah.
stuff that you want to pick up.
It's just about the. Oh, what are you saying, India?
truth be told, now that she's out of the mirror, do we still have to worry about mirrors?
But I also just have developed something of a complex and don't want to look at the mirror right now.
She can still be contacted through mirrors, I believe. They still feel like they matter.
This is accurate. However, both of you are sources of supernatural knowledge. A little light forthcoming about what potentially you can use as your operational basis.
Yeah. So, any other questions before we go? Oh, that's right. You were. You continue.
Since we were back home, do we know where we left our vehicles in deference? Because the point of when we first got to Shreveport, we took the van. And then while we were staying in Shreveport, we ended up with different vehicles to get around in that weren't necessarily our own home vehicles.
I mean, they should be wherever we left them here. I mean, we all went up there in just the one vehicle, so. The only thing is I don't really feel safe driving around in my vehicle while the police are looking for me.
Agreed, but I'm just pointing out that we probably need our own methods of transportation past this.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
But why? Don't you want to, stay together, like Al Green? Thinking about All of that
And
to say,
Mhm.
there's a cost to doing business. Everyone understands it superficially. It's at the back of your mind always. There's a cost. There's a fair rate of exchange. There is a trade of time for money, that you could trade the money for various services. There is a rate of exchange in all things. And as you've all sat, as you've all conversed, as you've all plotted and planned, there is a understanding that the lie can go around the world twice before the truth puts its shoes on in the morning. So too has the messaging of your enemies. Your actual enemies, not your perceived people who've annoyed you, who've gotten underneath your skin, not the people that were callously and selfishly non-deferential to your existence. People who don't care about you, whether you exist or not. They aren't your enemy. They are wholly 100% just selfish assholes. But your enemies who are actively working against you are other matters entirely. And while you've all had the opportunity of safety and succor and delving into the truths of this and various other universes, your enemies have been busy. So as you all marching on your way, making your plans and discussing this, that, and the otherwise, making your way through the dark of night, and it means something completely different out here. It's not the supernatural light absorbing darkness of Mirror's first release. It is not the darkness of a city street or a town center. No, out here at Candyman's, away from most of the major thoroughfares, trekking across those fields, making your way to other roads that are slightly more traveled and yet less maintained. There is a darkness of the natural world that helps drive home why man in its burgeoning days hunkered around fire. Why man had several different sleeping schedules because of the things that were out there in the dark. Moving through the darkness of Bethany, moving through the night, even as close to morning as you are, the creeping dread because there are things out there. And every once in a while, you can swear you can hear, "Why don't you help me?" Try not to turn towards the sound, because you've all been raised, brought up, and reared in areas where you know. And yet, because your name isn't called, there is still that inclination to potentially answer those calls out there in the dark. Hey, hey.
All these damn things out here in the fucking dark. So much for being the predators.
I think we need to ignore them.
Yeah. Lessons learned.
And perhaps move more quickly.
Yep. Who's driving?
Do we have a car?
I mean, when we get one.
I guess Cynthia probably would be okay with driving.
All right. Someone was asking me about the shed and why I needed to go there.
I was asking you. So you have some supplies you wanted from the shed. A gun
No,
and
no,
linen.
no, 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 no. I don't like guns. No. Uh, my great uncle's machete, it should be there. It's something of a family heirloom.
Your great uncle's machete and perhaps a body, which is why the police are looking for you.
I would really hope that's not why they're looking for me.
Why?
And for a brief moment, when Annabelle asks why, you all, because of your agreement with mirroring, get a quick opportunity, a quick flash of nothing. It's just a brief nothing. You know that it's nothing. You didn't see what you thought you saw, but however, just like falling from a great height, your eyes, physical and spiritual, take in more than your brain can process. It's just a brief flickering glimmer. And you see Kaylin and Joji. Blades whirling, two blurs attending to the hand of the prince, helping the sheriff, helping the hound. You see Joji and Kaylin, a beautiful twosome, a duo of death, the behest of one prince. It's a montage of them accepting the payment for their jobs well done, driving out those anarchs, for driving out that rabble, for making sure that the Bruja Convention knows better to, and on, and on, and on, for years on end. Their art being that of body parts separated, immortalities ended, fires, flagrations of explosions, like something only the best stunt coordinator in Hollywood could compose. And you're sure that couldn't be possible. You couldn't see all of that in the 1/1000th of a second that it flashed across your eyes, but there's some niggling bit of, because for Joji, who operates at a heightened speed, it was a slow, chopped, twisted symphony of all of the beautiful moments, because you only know who you are when all that you are can end in the moment. And in those moments where death was a very real probability, part of Joji learned who he really is. Part of Joji understands his attention to detail can be utilized for all manner of art.
Okay. There might be a reason for there to be a body there.
What's
I think we'll just have to go and see and figure out exactly how much I need to explain.
I look forward to it.
I don't.
Well,
Also, wait, did anybody else get that little...
the vision.
Okay, so, that's just fairly unfortunate.
I mean, what do you mean? You look pretty cool.
Yeah, and well, at least I got to
It's
see her
more
again.
of a matter of which body you left
Huh?
there.
I mean, like, there's only really, like, one person that I can remember, but It's not like I haven't had to. But it's okay though. We'll sort this out, and God, I hope he wasn't joking about having her picture.
So the trek across the dark, the conversations about a past life, lightly touched on, the lightest of touching. And then the absence of the constant hearing of squish provides its own sort of peace, its own sort of calm. You get used, you all learn to walk in a rhythm. It just happens. If there's a group of people or kindred walking anywhere, a rhythm develops. Like you fall in line without being told to. There are groups that fall in line and then they're spread as far apart, shoulder to shoulder as they can. And there's some that automatically form themselves up into little pyramids or little squares. There's some people who are automatically lag a little bit behind and fall in lockstep. That way, some people need to walk fast and be half a block ahead of the other group. But there's a natural rhythm that develops. And it can be quite peaceful or it can be quite chaotic when you realize that some people purposefully fight against that inclination towards belonging, that inclination towards, well, being part of anything. It's not easy being party to or part of anything. Yet as you all make your way across the dark of Bethany towards Joji's shop, even from your distance, you can smell the burning various lacquers, shellacs, kerosene, grasses, woods, plastics, all of the fiberglass on the inside of his house that was served as insulation. You can smell those things on the wind. It's funny about how distances work with scents and sounds out here in the wilds of the world. It's funny you're realizing that as urban as you all believe yourselves to be, you do exist in one of the wilder places of the world. And that's only driven home by the fact that you mound that last crest just there off of Elysian Fields, just past 9, just past the cemetery, and you can see from your distance, you know where Joji's shop is, and you're looking in that direction as you make your way forward past the high school and all of that, the world becoming more civilized. There's a river, a creek, really, the West Fork, Skokie, that sits there between where you need to get to and where you're leaving from. Even without Matty, you all instinctually remembered the conversations you've had about places of power. The end of things. Beginning of things. The apex of things. Places where elements meet and combine. Places like where the land meets the water, or the sky meets the land, or the sky meets the water, the horizon line. The apexes, ends, and beginnings of things. Rivers, creeks, lakes, mountains, caves. The forest meets the plains. All sorts of places where there's power to be had. Power can be raised a little easier. Places where the skein holding the world together. The membrane is a little thinner. On the other side of that river, on the other side of that creek, it's the road that you need to get to Joji's. Wild ramblings of that old tweaker you all met, which feels like forever ago now. Jerry. Mr. Kincaid, the tweaker who arranges circles of protections of electronic interference around himself to keep various things at bay. Being accosted, fighting for his various lives. And you realize that there are, in fact, lives at stake. His, most directly. As an army of benighted individuals, their spears rushing forward, attempting to pierce and knock them over, knock them outside of the circle. Their swords flashing and catching what little bit of starshine resides above. Their bows and crossbows filled with round missiles and projectiles being flung at him. Instead of him crouching and cowering or prattling on, he has a honest to goodness cast iron skillet in each hand, swinging and batting aside the weaponry flung at him. The pole arms being pushed towards him, he bats aside and manages to keep them from spearing or catching his clothing, and his glasses glinting and reflecting the less than natural light cast or reflected from the weaponry about him. And there's a clang and a roar and a cheer, the clang and a roar and a cheer, and there's no way that someone as old as him physically should be as spry, but in this moment, he might as well be the most regarded and skilled knight there could be, even as he's only fighting with 2 cast iron skillets against several handfuls of individuals. And behind you, you all hear, hey.
I guess we go help him?
Yeah,
Kinda just,
I certainly want to be inside of the circle rather than out of it.
yeah, does anybody have any cast iron skillets?
No.
Okay, well then let's just hope and pray.
To whom and to what is the question. And as you all consider rushing towards that circle of cast off speakers and flashlights and huge sorts of old radios and boom boxes that he's arranged around himself, and his little antenna of signal that he's sending out into the ether, praying that someone, counting on someone listening. The consideration as to who to pray to and what will grant you salvation rests on your tongue, mentally and physically. As you all make your way towards the circle, make your way towards Mr. Kincaid. And I thank you all for a lovely episode. And I'll see you guys next time.